water's warm.
Just so you know,
I don't do blowjobs.
You pee out of that thing.
Just think, maybe if she did do blowjobs, she'd still be alive.
Yeah, let's not make that the lesson.
It is the 31 days of Halloween, and if you missed the streaming news that we released earlier in the week, we talked about 10 horror films that are releasing to theaters or streaming in the country, if you can find some of them, and we're going to talk about one of the first ones on that list. Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn Confessional, and this is Dave from Nerdbox, and I'm accompanied by my wife, Jen, also from Nerdbox. And on this episode, we are talking about Totally Killer. So fire up that Jiffy Pop and meet us in the booth.
When the infamous Sweet 16 killer returns 35 years after his first murder spree to claim another victim, 17-year-old Jamie accidentally travels back in time to 1987, determined to stop the killer before he can start.
Totally Killer, a twist on Back to the Future combined with Happy Death Day and a little freaky tossed in to it. It is on Prime right now. Was the most anticipated movie on our list for week 1 of the horror movies that are dropping. And we follow the story of Jamie, who has to correct the things that just happened in her present time by going back into the past to prevent the Sweet 16 killer.
There's got the nerdy friend who has like a time machine, but it turns out that her friend was kind of finishing what her own mother started in high school and just couldn't get quite right. And even the friend didn't have it quite right. There was a little mishap, and then she ended up going back to 1987.
Jamie has some conflict with her parents. She's a teenager and her parents are uncool, but her parents are being overprotective because they were involved with the killings that happened years earlier. So they're like helicopter parents. So they're kind of like, no, it's an anniversary time. You gotta be safe. Stay home. Don't go out with your friends because you never know what's going to happen. And that's when shit kind of hits the fan.
Yeah.
So we see Jamie, who's like struggling with this inner conflict of, hey, she's got to correct what just happened in the present by going in the past. And she encounters her parents at a younger age, which is kind of funny. And this is where the Back to the Future piece kind of comes in.
Yeah.
Not only does Jamie go up to the cops and say, hey, did you see Back to the Future? I'm that character.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you that something's going to happen.
Yeah.
But she also encounters her parents.
Yeah.
And that's awkward.
Yeah, her mother hates her, calls her names, tells her to F off, literally. And then she kind of thought her own dad was hot. So there's that. That's awkward.
Yeah. There's a nice blend of the ultra politically correct culture of today mixed in with what we had in the 80s. Because if you grew up then, let's face it, it was not politically correct back then.
No, I mean, people just said whatever they wanted. They didn't care. They didn't think about anyone's feelings. And I know there's still people like that. But it was more accepted back then. You know, you could just walk up, snap a girl's bra. You could, make a comment. And you'll see some of that play out in the movie. A boy kind of like pushes her and she's like, whoa, like unwelcome touch, So that's like different.
Me being a former Redskins fan, there's even that played into it too, where you see certain mascots, then it's like, oh, cue the racism because it's the mascot in the 80s. Yeah. So a lot of that mixture in there was fun to see. It probably pissed some people off because it's like, oh, this movie's woke. No, it's just playing on the difference in times.
Yeah, I think that it's just kind of making fun of almost like how things are so different. And I don't think that some people even realize how different they are, especially if they're not from like that time frame. But when you have people from like Blumhouse involved, they would understand because they're in our age range.
So Jamie has to navigate through the 80s culture and the society or the the social society. Instead of the Heathers, we have the Mollys, and she has to try to prevent all of those killings, but butterfly effect, she kind of messes things up and has things change as she's going along.
Yeah, because how could that not happen, right? I mean, it's just gonna happen. If you're messing with time, it's gonna happen. You're gonna have things that are gonna turn out different. It's inevitable.
Mm-hmm. As you expect, there is, of course, Easter eggs pointing to other films that came before it. Biggest one is Scream, you have Back to the Future, and tons of other ones. We're not going to dive into that because this is not an Easter egg video. Hey, now let's talk about the cast. The cast was really good in this film.
Yeah, there were quite a few names that people would recognize. Jamie Hughes is played by Kiernan Shipka. Pam Miller is Olivia Holt. And we have Lachlan Monroe as the adult Blake Hughes. And I mean, Lachlan's been in the business forever, in horror movies too. So
Always comes to mind Freddy vs. Jason.
yeah, absolutely. We have Liana Liberato as Tiffany Clark, and she was just in Scream 6. She was Quinn. So
I didn't like her in this movie either.
no, yeah,
I don't get the appeal.
I think she plays the same character kind of over and over. Like, this was the 80s version of the Now character. So Julie Bowen as Jamie's mom, Pam, and I think most people know her from Modern Family. And then Randall Park as Sheriff Dennis Lim. And come on, Randall Park.
Anything he's in is pretty much better for it.
Yeah.
We're going to do something new that we're probably going to include in a lot of our reviews going forward. So, this is a slasher film, so let's talk about the slasher tropes and see if it checks off the boxes. Good slasher?
He was okay. I mean, he could have been better, I think.
Mask was alright.
Yeah.
He's dressed all in black like we always see.
Yeah.
So, slasher, I'm going to say, check the box. Yeah, we could check the box for a good slasher. Strong final girl.
Yeah, I liked her. I mean, she kicked ass, so that was good. I mean, she fought. She wasn't gonna, just lay down and die. So I liked her.
I think this is where we're a little different. I thought she was an okay final girl. Definitely not the pathetic final girls that we see running around screaming in previous films in the 70s and early 80s. She had a mission. She fought back a little bit. And she was trying to get everybody to wake up.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't compare her to some of like the really badass final girls, but I think that she held her own.
Yep. Next on the checklist, kill bait friends.
Yeah, there were a lot of those.
Yeah, definitely check that box.
It's the 80s, man. Some of these people were so dopey. Like, they were just like, oh my God, like, where's my hairspray?
The Ahab, which, if you're not familiar with that term, you need to go watch Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. But that is the Dr. Loomis type character. No, not in this movie. Nobody was familiar with the killer himself and what his motive was in trying to prevent him.
Yeah, no. They were just all afraid of him.
Party, sex, and drugs?
Check, check, check.
Yes. Bumbling law enforcement?
Check.
Yes.
Especially Randall Park. I mean...
Oh, yeah. He's just great in timing and anything that he delivers.
Yeah.
Chase scenes?
Yeah,
They were pretty good.
they were decent.
And then good kills.
They could have been better.
Yeah, I think it missed the list on that one.
Yeah.
So, Jen, what do you rate this one?
I would watch it again. I think it's a fun movie to watch, like with the kids. There's a few laughs in there, and it's not super scary. So,
Me, this is a one and done. I've seen Freaky. I've seen Happy Death Day. This movie, a little bit lesser than those two. I would say it's like on the same cusp as Happy Death Day 2, which I didn't really care for. I know you liked that a lot more than I did. So, if it's on again, I'll find something else to watch. Okay, now before we go, first off, thank you very much for watching anything that we're putting out on 31 Days of Horror and anything we put out on this channel. We truly appreciate it. And because of our community that we formed here on YouTube, while it's small, it is fierce and mighty, as Robin Williams once said. And on Facebook as well, as we're growing there too, we've been added to a special promotion that is ending this month, and that is the In Search of Darkness Part 4, the first part in the trilogy based on the 90s. So it's a documentary that is out there on Shudder right now, and it's a pretty damn good documentary. I don't know about you, but when I do get around to watching documentaries, I It's typically based on something horror related, curses and films, the layout of the land for some particular decade, slasher films. So In the Search of Darkness for the 90s is coming up, and you have an opportunity to be a part of that.
These are the times that try men's souls.
Police believe that O.J. Simpson is in that car.
Any requests?
Oh, hi there, Fright Fiend.
There's one near you.
Can you explain what internet is?
The In the Search of Darkness 80s trilogy is complete. But as we all know, horror never dies. The early 90s represented an exciting, challenging, and evolutionary period for horror filmmaking.
Showtime! Are you ready?
In Search of Darkness 1990 to 1994 will dive into this era and analysis, deconstruct, recontextualize, and reframe this decade in horror.
Through Nerdbox, through the end of 31 Days of Halloween, you will get 10% off of 3 packages by clicking on the link that is in the description. A digital copy, which includes your name in the credits, a copy of the film, and the soundtrack, plus a booklet. Then there is the standard Blu-ray box set, which adds to everything that we talked about with the digital copies, and you get the Blu-ray, 2 posters, a commemorative booklet, and a few more perks. And then finally, the deluxe box set adds a t-shirt.
Come get some.
So, we appreciate your support. Go over and support the In Search of Darkness, have your name in the credits, and be a part of horror history yourself.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. I think it's really cool.
Now, before we go, there's a couple things that you need to do.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe because it works.
Yes, please do that. The more you subscribe, the more you like. It takes less than 20 seconds. I've counted it. No, I haven't. But the more you do those things, the more it helps our channel out, right? You're watching, so just throw a like on it. Just throw a comment and say, hey, Dave, I didn't agree with your opinion. That's fine.
It's okay, I never agree with this opinion. So.
Pretty much. But this is what horror is all about. So if you really like a movie that we don't like, let us know why, and let's talk about it. And if you want to talk about spoilers, head over to our Facebook page, shoot us a message there, and we'll talk to you there. So until the next review, see ya.
Happy Halloween.